the COVID-19 Special Intervention Funds disbursement and direct labor in Lagos and Ogun states. These include 1 kilometer stretch on Bank Anthony Road, 3 kilometers of Jibowu Ikorodu Road, and 1 kilometer stretch of Old Abeokuta Road, Agege through the Penn Cinema. 1.5 kilometer stretch of the Costain Orile Igomu Road through Eric Moore caught the attention of lawmakers as it served as the alternative route during the closure of the third mainland bridge for repairs. This road, the senators learned, has not any form of service in the last 30 years.
We are doing it because of the livelihood of our people.
Exactly, sir.
Has it succeeded in bringing, succor to pedestrians and motorists?
The lawmakers focused attention on the quality of work done and insisted on provision of drainage system to guarantee the durability of the roads.
The impact on the society looks good, and of course the quality of work also looks good. Most of these roads are bad, and with the intervention of FEMA, we'll be able to make them good.
The Senate committee also noted some of the challenges of FEMA, which include paucity of funds, and expressed commitment for an effective oversight of the agency. From Lagos, Vivian Idekbefo, NTA News.
To ensure food security in Nigeria, effective provision for mechanized farming should be put in place, especially as the Ministry of Agriculture grows its Green Imperative program. This was the position of the Minister of Agriculture when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts to give details on its proposed loan. Mobolaji Moribiri has the report.
Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts seeks clarification from ministries and departments on how such loans will benefit Nigerians when approved.
This issue of mechanization has a lot of dimensions, but the central part of it is it improves general productivity in the country.
The main implementation of the facility will be in 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. The duration is only for 2 years, and the project development objective is to prevent, detect, and respond to the threat posed by COVID-19.
The committee urged the ministries to put necessary structures and capacity building to avoid future hiccups in programs implementation.
Nothing especially wrong with borrowing if that money borrowed is used for activities that will engender development and remove our young ones from the streets.
With the necessary details provided by the ministries, it is expected that the committee will look into the matter for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Tourism and hospitality industry is perfecting strategies to enlighten stakeholders on how best to generate revenue from the sector to improve the nation's economy. Abdulmalik Hassan reports.
Tourism, a multi-billion-dollar industry, is globally noted to be one sector that has generated wealth and created employment to many. Despite the diversification policy, Nigerian tourism industry is said not to be doing much, and this is why this seminar is holding to profile solutions on how best to utilize the industry.
The creation of one-stop center for all tourism registration, licensing, and permitting requirements. This will in turn encourage investment, both foreign and local, within the industry.
Here, I'd like to share some information about China's tourism development and its related legislation governing the tourist facility, such as the tourist service center, high-standard tourist hotels, etc. China clearly knows that all those are very necessary for the development of tourism.
Experts believe that Nigeria needs to revive the tourism industry and harness its full potentials to improve the country's gross domestic product.
You have to generate revenue in order to stand the test of time. And that is why Scholars have argued that tourism will soon do better than oil. The oil you have, tourism will be more significant than the oil you have.
The efforts at addressing insecurity will improve inbound of tourism. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Raising the economic status and social well-being of Nigerians through various programs for poverty alleviation by the present administration is adjudged as one of the major single strive that is gradually transforming Nigeria from being a consumer society to a productive nation. This, experts asserted on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live and emphasized as a sure way of uplifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
With a population of more than 200 million people, Nigeria, like other developing countries, is said to be grappling with poverty and other social problems. To address the issues, the federal government in 2016 launched the largest social investment structures in Nigeria's history.
You can enter what they call direct credit facility. You can enter what we call AGMIS. Is for agri-business and other related SME loans. We have also Anko Boras. And recently too, we are doing investment in youth. We have what we call youth investment scheme. It's actually targeted at youth so that youth can be employed.
To a large extent, I want to believe that the bouquet of programs, had properly impacted the economy, properly impacted the targeted community, and we can compare this to what we used to have, before 2015, 2016, when this bouquet of programs, were rolled out.
The impact of these programs are documented to have spread across the country in education, skills acquisition, microfinance lending, school feeding and nutrition, as well as agriculture.
Look at also indigenous solutions to this. How did China lift 700 million people out of poverty within a short period of time, even to the admiration of their detractors?
This is by far the most ambitious investment of any government in our country, targeting poverty and poverty alleviation.
The discussants say federal government has kept faith in the execution of social investment programs, empowering more Nigerians, containing restiveness and rejuvenating economic activities. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
ECOWAS Vision 2050 is to create a borderless, peaceful, prosperous and cohesive region built on good governance, where people have the capacity to access and harness the enormous resources. This is a shared responsibility that the regional parliament is willing to pursue through its strategic plan. Onengiye Fineface reports that this plan has been adopted at the ongoing first extraordinary session of the parliament in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
ECOWAS Parliament Strategic Plan is designed to provide direction in decision-making and allocation of resources to enable Parliament attain its goals. It provides guidance on the efficient and effective utilization of scarce resources and serves as the basis for monitoring and evaluation of the performance of Parliament.
We remain committed to the call for direct election of members to the ECOWAS Parliament. As one of the highlights of the strategic plan, I want to reiterate that call. Direct election by the people will creates a sense of responsibility in the leaders and makes them realize that they have been chosen by the people to perform in a patriotic and dedicated role.
President of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, and President of the ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Cassibrou, want this plan to promote ECOWAS Vision 2050 by addressing critical concerns like ECOWAS single currency, trade liberalization scheme, common external tariff, among other issues.
Specifically, democracy, peace and security, to build a peaceful and stable region. Trade integration through consolidation of the free movement of persons and goods. Human capital development through capacity building of the health system, education, social development, promotion of youth, gender and employment.
The ECOWAS Parliament Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024 also identifies programs with themes and priority areas that would assist the Parliament in executing its mandate as defined by the Supplementary Act. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
The judiciary, as the third arm of government, has taken up the onerous task of dispensing justice with vigor, although the reasons behind some judgments are sometimes questionable. A roundtable organized by the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, is looking at ways and means of improving the reliability of judicial pronouncements. Olabode Arewa reports.
Since independence, courts have played strong roles in shaping the direction of the society through legal pronouncements. Litigants and members of the public sometimes do not understand why the courts take such decisions, leading to mistrust. This virtual meeting of like minds in the judicial sector seeks to formulate a proper philosophy that would guide jurisprudence in the law courts.
The burden is on us to raise the standard for society and to make sure that society comes up to that standard.
It cannot be gainsaid that the moral and intellectual quality of the individuals who occupy judicial office is central to the quality of justice which any system will deliver. It is critical that only the most excellent and incorruptible minds are appointed to the bench.
Therefore, much as we are complaining about judges that are bad, we should be able to commend judges that are very good.
The alleged compromise notice in the judicial sector was laid at the feet of legal practitioners. The forum illustrated the need for a truly independent, impartial, and just judiciary.
The only thing you can leave behind is your name, your integrity, your fame for what you have done.
The Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption is spearheading the President's reform agenda in anti-corruption, working towards changes in the justice system. This is the first edition of the program. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And now it's time to cross over to our Lagos Network Center, where Awal is standing by with the next set of reports on Nationwide. Good evening, Awal.
Good evening, Ayo. Good to see you. The decision of the federal government to commit the sum of 765 billion naira to social investment program in year 2021 stems from the positive impact of its various intervention schemes in the past and the desire to grow the number of beneficiaries to 100 million Nigerians. Adeni Taiwo got up close and personal with some beneficiaries of the empowerment interventions and filed in this report.
Poverty and high rates of unemployment are two socio-economic realities that can create a lot of imbalance in any society. The federal government was obviously mindful of these truths when in 2016 it launched various schemes targeted at promoting self-reliance and providing safety nets for the vulnerables in the society. In the last 5 years, special intervention components of the National Social Investment Program, such as home school feeding for pupils in public schools, conditional cash transfer to the poorest of the poor, trader money, and NPA have addressed specific mandates with positive results.
The total of 9 multiplied by...
Apart from being a couple, Matthew and Mary have few other things in common. They both teach at a family-owned private school, leveraging teaching and management skills they acquired during their 4-year stint as beneficiaries of the federal government Youth Empowerment Program, NPA.
Those knowledge acquired during that time, I'm able to transfer them into what I'm doing presently. And it has really helped in improving the business I'm having currently.
Taught a lot of things about the school records, how to handle them.
Although they are no longer on the payroll of the federal government, Matthew and Mary want the federal government to not only sustain the intervention, but also fine-tune it.
They promise us that we'll never go back to the streets. We are still holding firmly to that.
Even as government works to expand the program with the induction of additional 500,000 beneficiaries into batch C of the scheme, federal government agencies are giving more meaning to the investment with technical support.
We even have what you call the cluster resettlement, where you put them together, get a place for them, and they start their businesses.
They're acquiring a technology. They are giving a startup sum of money.
A minimum of 100,000 for each participant.
Apart from Empire, which the likes of Matthew and Mary described as a necessary stopgap, other packages such as Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program and 75 billion naira youth investment fund are also touching lives in Lagos. Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Nigeria Customs Strike Force Team Zone A in Lagos State is combing every nook and cranny within its jurisdiction in desperate search of smugglers and their product to make the trade less lucrative. The latest is the seizure of vehicles loaded with rice in areas least expected. Michael Olale reports.
From this perspective, one can easily conclude that these vehicles have no sign of contravening any rules or regulations, but beyond the exterior are bags of rice loaded into various compartments. Even the tires are not spared.
2 or more bags must have been emptied into this tank.
Little wonder, the customs described them as wonder vehicles simply because more than 20 bags are usually squeezed into each.
It's not only showing desperation of rice smugglers. It is, to me, a demonstration of moral depravity, where human beings do not care about the lives of others.
These represent just a few of the 823 bags of foreign rice smuggled into the country, aside for 180 cartons of basmati rice and other items in this container recovered from a warehouse. Of special reference is this container loaded with 280 bales of second-hand clothing, which the Customs Strike Force team described as being stolen simply because the goods evaded necessary customs levies and was abandoned by the truck driver at Mile 2 after an intensive chase. Worried by how the container exited the port without clearance is guiding the customs to take a position on barge operations.
Use of badges should be discouraged because there's no control. But, you know, somebody who wants your thing is more intelligent than you. But we have to redouble effort to get this thing. If not so, only God knows how many of such have gone. But for this is enough financial loss to them.
Also intercepted are 45 pallets of printed label materials falsely declared to escape payments of 20% duty, while 1,620 pieces of used tires formed part of the seizure, which the customs said has generated 1 billion naira from demand notice in the first quarter of the year. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. The news will continue shortly from our Maiduguri Network Center with Mohammed Ibrahim after this commercial break. Do stay with us.
My name is Dr. Faisal Shuaib. I am the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Earlier today, I took my first shot of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Despite all of the delays, all of the doubts, here we are, Nigerians can finally access the vaccines. I hope that Nigerians will come out and get these vaccines because these vaccines are safe, they're effective, and they truly work. Over the course of the next few weeks, we have to continue wearing face masks. We have to do social distancing. But I know eventually once we're able to get herd immunity, then we'll be able to stop all of these non-pharmaceutical interventions. To get the vaccination, you should go to the NPHCDA website. There's a link on there that you click and you can register and schedule exactly where you want to get your vaccine.
bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher yo a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher jọ̀wọ́ a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi, we no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, shall we? Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, it's not I talk with that now.
Not for me.
You want me to die?
Not for me because of Pamio.
Welcome back, esteemed viewers, to Nationwide from Maiduguri Network Center. The resurgence of total blackout being experienced in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, has been described as worrisome by residents having enjoyed restoration of electricity for only 3 days after availability of power in Maiduguri and its environs. Yagum Subukar reports.
Saturday, 24th March 2021 will remain indelible on minds of Maiduguri residents having experienced power outage for 2 months, but with concerted efforts of Transmission Company of Nigeria, in collaboration with Borno State government, electricity supply was restored, a situation that turned around the sufferings into jubilation. Barely 3 days of reconnection. 2 other towers along Jakana and Benishek axis were brought down by explosives, thereby reversing the total blackout, subjecting people to untold hardship.
We are really suffering in Maiduguri. I don't think we have any hope on electricity. Fasting is about to begin, I think, in 2 weeks' time. And without electricity, I don't think things are going to be easy.
This power outage is affecting our lives seriously. There are a lot of things now. You see, we are always in darkness.
Although I've stayed here for more than 50 years, but with this recent development, I want to go back to Howell, where the weather is very conducive. There is always light.
Others, however, lamented that they resort to watering their environments to douse the heat intensity and enjoy the cool breeze as an alternative to use of fan and air conditioner, considering the heat wave at its peak.
If you come in 2 hours' time now, you come and see like a market where everybody is having a shelter here.
Borno State Commissioner for Housing and Energy, Engineer Yuguda Sale Vungas, while calling on residents to be patient, said government is doing everything possible to collaborate with Transmission Company of power to the state. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Safety of travelers and motorists plying the only route linking Maiduguri to other parts of the state and country has been guaranteed, considering the ongoing intensive joint security patrol along Maiduguri-Damaturu Highway. Maimuna Garba examines the situation.
The Maiduguri-Damaturu Highway in the last couple of months was a nightmare due to incessant attacks and kidnapping by insurgents, thereby rendering the route dangerous to follow by travelers and other road users. However, the wave of attacks on the route subsided due to combined efforts of security operatives in the state. Hence, the road is now relatively safe, as attested to by some people.
Akwai jami'an tsaro abin da yasa ce miki hanya alhamdulillah suna patrol sosai har ga Allah. Ba laifi.
Alhamdulillah. Komai yayi kyau mun gode wa Allah.
We are secure with the securities on the roads and cover all the buses that used to going and coming to Maiduguri.
For now, at least it's okay. You can see both the soldiers, they join patrols and what have you.
As vehicular movements on the highway are now made easy with the renewed vigor of security agents in ensuring the road remains safe, security operatives say they will not relent in that regard.
There is always an intensive patrol along that road. We deployed our personnel, especially from the combat teams, and some are stationed at the dangerous spots along the road.
Continuous security patrol on the highway will no doubt reduce fear and anxiety on travelers plying the road. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Those are the stories from this. It continues with Ayodeji in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. Back here in Abuja, the Minister of Environment, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, says 16 out of the 21 sites in Ogoni community earmarked for cleanup have been completed. The minister gave this update when he joined other guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria to discuss the ongoing Ogoni land cleanup flagged off by the federal government in 2016. Joseph Oten reports.
It is getting close to 5 years since the federal government flagged off the Ogoni cleanup exercise. Though assembling of competent structures to execute the project and land conflicts contributed to delay in commencement of work, the Minister of Environment, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, says much has been sorted out and substantial progress has been made. The minister revealed that 16 sites have been cleaned and the areas are witnessing restoration of vegetation and improved water.
But not all the 16 that have been certified by NOSDRA, which is the certification body. However, the 16 have been cleaned. And today we have given out six contracts of over 6 billion. And these are really reticulated contract, real water project.
Other guests who gave credence to the minister's statements acknowledge adequate engagement of host communities in almost 90% of contracts and skills training, as well as adopting due process in operations as key factors to recent speed of work.
2020, the second set of contracts were awarded, and they are working now. They couldn't work towards around February. They couldn't mobilize until around October, some of them, because of this COVID.
Funds is not a problem for this project. Because of the due process of this government, things must take course of how these monies will move.
Some of these sites were locked, completely locked with crude oil. But if you pass now, you will see, the place is now green, showing that life has come back.
The cleanup, according to the Minister of Environment, is now expected to be completed by 2024. In Abuja, Joseph Oten, NTA News.
Now let's serve you with some gender-related stories, with the rank of 2-star general being the highest attained by a woman in the Nigerian military. Voices at the official launch of the gender policy for the armed forces of Nigeria are calling loudly for women to reach 3- and 4-star generals status. Defense correspondent Niger Tijani reports.
Having 4 chapters reviewed by Professor Ekundayo Ocholi, the gender policy of the armed forces exposes lapses in the areas of recruitment, budget, gender-based violence, and other issues with a view to resolving them.
The crux of this resolution aims at ensuring that women and their society needs are safeguarded through increased emphasis on granting access to opportunities in all spheres of human endeavors, including the military.
With the rank of 2-star general being the highest attained by a woman in the military, voices are calling loudly for women like Commodore Jamila Malafa of the Nigerian Navy and Brigadier General Catherine Thomas, the gender advisor of the Nigerian Army, both 1-star generals, to reach 3- and 4-star status.
A policy of this nature had a propensity of opening up opportunities not only for the female personnel but also for the children aspiring to join the armed forces.
The 4-chapter policy is modeled on international standards of gender mainstreaming and seeks to remove obstacles preventing women from reaching 3- and 4-star general status, and with voices calling more loudly, perhaps one of these women, some of them 2-star generals, might just become the service chief in the near future. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
In another development, Nigeria can now effectively fight human trafficking and other criminal tendencies in the country, especially as they affect the female gender. This was at the launch of National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons Gender Policy Document, the implementation strategy in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
Investigations show that one of the major reasons human trafficking occurs in traditional Africa is due to gender discrimination, which Goal 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations aimed at eliminating. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, is optimistic that the launch of the NAPTIP gender policy will address gender gaps and contribute to the realization of the central goals of the national gender policy.
The launch of NAPTIP's gender policy will complement the agency's operational strategies to curb gender-based violence and address gender gaps where they exist within the agency's internal operations.
We recognize that most trafficked persons have limited education or limited appreciation of the documents that are presented before them. Education is key.
The NAPTIP boss said the agency now has a renewed vision.
This would help us to look into with a closer lens to areas that we have not worked on, to promote a gender-sensitive environment that addresses forced migration and also trafficking. It will ensure gender-based victim support with proper documentation.
To make the policy an implementable document, we also have an implementation plan which has been developed and finalized together with the policy.
The forum agreed that gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The vision and mission of national policy on gender in education in Nigeria can only be achieved if the state governments and other stakeholders on gender-related issues collaborate. This is the consensus of participants at a 2-day stakeholders meeting on revised version of the policy held in Bauchi. Muazu Hassan completes the report.
Stakeholders from 10 states of the Northeast and Northwest on the content of the policy and to avail them the opportunity to give their input is the reason for this meeting.
Policy on gender in basic education has been in operation for about 14 years and is in dire need of review to address emerging gender issues and tackle prevailing challenges. By the time we leave and this policy comes up with the inputs that you are making, the policy is yours and nobody else.
We expect that the directors here present, which we see as our technocrats, will really be committed and own this document.
The recent survey conducted on the policy revealed that a lot of stakeholders were ignorant of the existence of the policy, while others were implementing the policy unconsciously. But this fora is expected to change the narrative.
That when we get implementation, when money is not allocated, then the policy is truncated because it cannot be implemented.
The participants are expected to domesticate the policy in their respective states for easy implementation. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
From Bauchi, let's cross over to our Makurdi Network Center, where Fatima is standing by with the next set of reports making rounds in that zone.
Good evening and welcome to Makurdi. Good evening. Governor Samuel Otom has condemned the killing of Reverend Father Ferdinand Gugban of St. Paul's Catholic Church, Ayetoa Village, by unknown gunmen in Katinala local government area of Benue State. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teve Akasi, the Governor described the attack as mindless and wondered why a harmless priest would become the target of armed men. He reassured the people of Katinala and Sankera in general that the state government will not relent until those responsible for the killing and other attacks in that part of the state are brought to justice. The governor reaffirmed the resolve of his administration not to hand over the state to criminals and urged Benue people to continue to support security operatives with timely and useful information. Governor Otom sympathized with the bereaved family and praised that God grants the soul of Reverend Father Gugban eternal rest. It will be recalled that the security in Sankera axis, which comprises 3 local government areas, Ukum, Logo, and Katinala, has been volatile for quite some time. Still on peace and security matters, the Air Officer Commanding Tactical Air Command, Nigerian Air Force Makurdi, Air Vice Marshal Idi Lubel, has pledged to bring his operational experience to bear on sustaining the relative peace, security, and safety of Benue. He stated this during his courtesy visit to Governor Samuel Otom at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
The Air Officer Commanding Tactical Air Command Makurdi, Air Vice Marshal Idi Gamso Lubo, indicated that he believes that to surmount the endemic security challenges in the country, especially in Benue State, it would take the cooperation of relevant authorities.
You can't win some kind of security issues by mere kinetic operations. That the new strategy is the own of government approach.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom, who appreciated the vigil of the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies to sustain the relative peace in the state, said government will continue to give its maximum support to security formations to effectively deliver on their mandates. The governor reiterated that since the government does not condone any acts capable of heating up the polity, it would continue to unveil relevant information that would result in apprehending and prosecuting perpetrators of crimes.
Those things that will amplify the existing problems, like putting petrol on an existing fire, let us avoid them. But work to ensure that will keep the unity of this country.
The governor, who commended the Nigerian Air Force for its disposition to civil relationship, assured Nigerian Air Force of enabling environment for it to operate, especially with regard to the issue of land. He, however, pointed out that criminal activities are the bane of economic and socio-political development in the country. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And that's it from Makurdi. Nationwide continues with Ayodeji in Abuja after this break.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
My name is Boss Mustafa, the Secretary to the Government and the Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. I've just had the rare privilege of taking my first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and I can tell you that we are doing very well in terms of our response and the administration of the vaccines all over the country. As strategic leaders, we are supposed to lead by example, and the President did precisely that on Saturday with the Vice President, and we are continuing in that particular direction. The essence of taking these vaccines is to help us really fight this COVID-19 virus, and the combination of the non-pharmaceutical measures and the vaccine is the way to go in 2021 and thereafter.
Glad you're still with us. The dividend of borrowing to fund reconstruction and rehabilitation of road networks across the country is beginning to manifest. Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, said this after supervising the ongoing construction works on Abuja-Kefi-Makudi Highway. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
Nyanya Maruba Highway, an axis dreaded by motorists, especially during the closing hours of the day. The ongoing expansion of the highway to 10 lanes is taking shape, putting the contractors on their toes in the unblinking eyes of the Minister of Works and Housing. This he does with the aim of putting smiles on the faces of citizens plying the highway.
It will be a place where you would love to commute, you would love to drive.
A reflection of these is in each of the critical road networks undergoing reconstruction or rehabilitation.
Building capacity, robust welfare, and equipping the Nigeria police force with modern technology are measures being adopted to improve internal security challenges. Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Maigari Dingyadi, stated this at the biennial Sultan Machido Institute for Peace, Leadership and Development Studies at the Faculty of Sciences, University of Abuja. Francis Form reports.
Nigeria is grappling with some security challenges such as insurgency, banditry and kidnapping, among others. But the country has been perfecting strategies to address all this. Now, the Minister of Police Affairs, in a message delivered by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry at a lecture in University of Abuja, explained efforts by the government to tackle the challenges. He acknowledged the Sultan Machido Institute for bridging the gaps between academics and societal realities through leadership and development mentoring.
We live in a world of limitless possibilities, where education exposes us to our true potentials. It is the what we have been able to assimilate now during this period, given the focus and given the integrity, that will form the content that you are able to give out from when you now get into the workspace.
I also commend the Sultan Machido Institute of Peace, Leadership and Development Studies for playing the important role of addressing the challenges of security, leadership and development by working with government, the organized private sector and security agencies in the area of human capacity development.
The Sultan Machido Institute for Peace, Leadership and Development Studies is a lecture series geared towards harnessing leadership potentials among undergraduates and Nigerians in general. Francis from NTA News.
Synergy aimed at achieving tolerance, unity, peace and national security form part of the reason for the visit of Chairman Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Bongom Jos, that Jacob Yang Buba, to the Emir of Dutse, Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi. Correspondent Ibrahim Belugunda has details.
It is a fact that traditional leaders are more closer to the people, particularly at the grassroots level. For this reason, many believe the traditional institution plays a significant role in national peace and stability. This was played out when Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, received his Jos counterpart, Bongom Jos, the Jacob Yang Buba, at his palace in Dutse. During the meeting, the royal fathers discussed issues bordering on peace, unity and security in the country.
We can live in peace if we respect each other, and traditional institutions play a significant role in promoting peace.
Our people, we expect, will take cue and learn to live in peace. Divisiveness is not going to help anybody to grow.
The visiting monarch was taken around the historic Dutse Museum and the golf sporting field established by the Emir of Dutse. From Dutse, Ibrahim Belugunda, NTA News.
Moving on now, the public financing for agriculture projects targeted at smallholder women farmers has ended in Nigeria. Country Director Action Aid, Ene Obi, revealed that 8 states benefited from the initiative. Correspondent Elizabeth Omorui has the details.
The initiative, Community Safety and Human Security, is aimed at involving community leaders and the citizens to secure their communities while providing local intelligence report to security agencies. Members of the committee include traditional rulers, religious leaders, representatives of youth organizations, civil societies, security agencies, expected to engage communities on how to live peacefully. Federal Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs is driving the initiative with the support of state governments.
The Nigerian National Security under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration places emphasis on the people and not the state, and is aimed at enhancing the social being of the citizens.
National State Government promised to support the initiative, which is in line with its community-based conflict resolution mechanism.
The event is apt and timely, coming at a time when the nation is faced with intermittent security challenges and its attendant consequences on human lives and socio-economic development of our own society.
Stakeholders commended federal government for the initiative that is expected to improve security situation in the state. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume, met separately with Governor Abdullah Hisuli to strengthen partnership between federal and the state government. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohamed, NTA News.
Our sincere apologies, as that report is from Aliu Tijani Mohammed on the citizenship participatory approach in Nasarawa State to contain security challenges in parts of the country. Now let's go back to our earlier report where we told you that the public financing for agriculture projects, which is targeted at smallholder women in the country, Nigeria, has ended. Elizabeth Amori will be telling us more.
Statistics by the Food and Agriculture Organization show that among 821 million undernourished people in the world, 257 million are located in Africa. This perhaps explains why Nigerian farmers are shifting attention to capacity building to ensure food sufficiency and end poverty. Already, the Public Financing and Agriculture Project, which is one of the initiatives embraced by smallholder women farmers, is set to be catalyzing increase in quality and quantity of food and bridging the financial gaps in agri-investment.
We expect the federal and state governments to increase funding to agriculture up to 10%, which is the Maputo Declaration, and then concentrate on investment on extension services.
Funded by international donor partners, commenced in 2011, and women farmers from Ebonyi, Kwara, Delta, Bauchi, Gombe, Ondo, and FCT have so far benefited in the area of data generation and capacity building.
We can move closely along together with government, by, organizing ourselves, advocating for an increase in the budget and also track the budget when it is even actually allocated.
Before now, there were no financial services groups, but with the coming of this project under the ministry, we were able to understand that the need for them to raise capital.
The farmers are also advocating flexible finance system and improved security surveillance to enable them sustain the trajectory. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Let's also tell you that normalcy has returned to Niamey, Niger Republic capital, after an alleged attempted coup by some military personnel. Joyce Ometu reports that heavy gunfire erupted near Niger Republic presidency few days before the inauguration of the country's first elected president, Mohamed Bazoum.
The attack came at a time the authorities are finalizing arrangements for the handing over of power to the newly elected president, Mohamed Bazoum. The army officers who allegedly attempted to break into the presidential area in Niamey were repelled by presidential guards. Residents report that the overnight shooting lasted for about 20 minutes. Even though there is no official statement from the government at the time of this report about the people behind the attack, reports have it that some soldiers have been arrested. Niger has suffered numerous coups in its history. The most recent is that of February 2010, which toppled the then president, Mamadou Tanja. There have been growing attacks by militants and political tensions following Mohamed Bazoum's victory in the country's February presidential election runoff. Bazoum is a former interior minister and right-hand man of the outgoing president Mamadou Yusufu, who is voluntarily stepping down after 2 5-year terms. Former President Maman Usman, who lost in the runoff, has rejected the results and alleged fraud. He called for peaceful marches across the country, but the planned opposition protest scheduled for today in Niamey was banned by the authorities. Joyce Ometu, NTA News.
Reactions trail Super Eagles of Nigeria's 3-0 victory over Lesotho. Let's have details on sports updates.
Many thanks for joining us on